Hi, everybody. Dan Illman, Mike Beer. Well, it's opening Friday at Keeneland. We also have graded stakes action at the Big A. Race number 7's the Distaff. Fillies and mares going 7/8 of a mile. Let's take a look at this field. It'll be very interesting to see if the number 6, the razor sharp Rosa Veloce, can carry her speed 7/8 of a mile. That's one of the major keys of this race.
Yeah, it really is. Luckily for her, there doesn't seem like there's a ton of speed in here, Dan. So maybe she'll just get, sort of that kind of soft trip up on the lead here, and it'll help her get the distance. I also feel like, as good as she's been since Rob Actress claimed her, and as hot as Rob Actress has been here all winter and into the spring, it has to be pointed out, this is a way tougher field than the one that she's been beating up on.
There's no doubt about that. And she did have an easy race flow when on the lead last time out. She might get one again as she steps up in the distaff. As we throw up the Timeform US pace projector, it favors front runners. After the opening quarter mile, we're expecting Rosa Veloce to take up her usual position up front, but past the Champagne is far from a slow horse. She was second in the Ashland in 2021. It's a shame that sort of injuries have kind of stymied her career at points, but she's now running 3 times without the benefit of a layoff, and it looks like George Weaver has her back in good form.
Yeah, I do think that's good news for her that she's back in regular racing here after really struggling, especially last year as a 4-year-old. It took her a while to get back, but she came back with a pretty nice run off the layoff, I thought. I mean, I guess she ran okay last time in the Frigidane. It wasn't a great performance, but it wasn't terrible. And it does feel like one she could build off of.
And again, I think 7/8 of a mile, while a question mark for Rosa Veloce, that is right up past the Champagne's alley, arguably her favorite distance. Another big question in this race is how will the number 2 Gerrymander do off of a lengthy layoff? Gerrymander showed some ability at 2. She showed some ability at 3, winning the Mother Goose. Not the strongest Mother Goose in the world, but she won it. And then she seemed to go off form against tougher horses, wired by the Quality Society in the Grade 1 Cotillion last time out.
Yeah, it feels like the 2 grade ones at the end of last year. The competition was too tough for her. It also kind of maybe drove the point home, Dan, that she really doesn't want to go that far. I think, the sort of shorter one-turn races are better for her. I think that's probably what they'll concentrate on now. She got the big figure for the Mother Goose. You mentioned it wasn't a strong field. There were only 3 other horses in there. She still ran pretty well that day.
Class and distance relief should work for her as she makes her first start off the layoff. The 3 is Easy to Bless, no match for Rosa Veloce last time out in the correction. That was over a wet track that Easy to Bless usually handles. She's a likable horse, a 10-time winner. If you want to make the argument she was pace compromised in that race, fine. I just wonder if she's truly a graded stakes kind of horse.
Yeah, she's really not. She was in really good form sort of early last year too, Dan. So they decided to try this race last year, the Grade 3. She was nowhere. A couple of starts later, they tried the Better Rosa. She was nowhere. They tried to step her up into the correction last time. She was nowhere. There's no pace in this race to set her up either. She's a really nice horse, a really cool horse, but she's not a stakes horse.
Another 10-time winner that must prove her mettle against these tougher caliber of horses is the number 4 Hydra, who was claimed for $40,000 last time out by the very sharp Rudy Rodriguez. She ran well 3 and 4 back, but against much weaker horses.
Yeah, agreed. I like those 2 performances, 3 and 4 back. They bumped her up in class to face Rosa Veloce back at the end of January. That didn't go that well. She got pretty tired in that race and was never really a factor in there. And I didn't think she ran great last time either, Dan. They dropped her back down. She got a perfectly good trip as far as I could tell and just didn't finish that hard. Another horse, it's hard to make a case for her as a stakes horse. I think the only thing that got me even mildly interested was she's off the claim for Rudy, and Rudy's just great off the claim.
The 3rd-place finisher from that most recent race did come back to earn a 72 Byron placing, but it was in a 12,500 starter allowance. Meraviglioso comes out of a 12,500 starter allowance. She didn't win. She finished 3rd that day, going 7/8 of a mile, and I thought the pace was solid, and I thought the closer's trip was fine, saving ground. She just wasn't good enough to beat these horses, and now she's got to face tougher.
Yeah, I mean, they're going to step her up here, for some reason. I'm not even really sure what the idea here is to step her up into a stakes race because her overall form doesn't really seem to give her any chance in here. And she's the slowest horse on the way in. That's why she's 50 to 1 on the line.
New York Breds are up next, the 6 and the 7. Rosa Veloce, claimed by Rob Atras for 32,000. He's figured her out. She's won 4 of her last 5, including this race in the correction over a sloppy track. She went to the front. It's a fairly easy pace. There's just no running going on behind Rosa Veloce, which makes me question the whole quality of the field, but she does look good streaking home. I guess she should have looked good because she didn't go fast early.
Yeah, another good performance, though. I mean, again, Actress just has gotten her good, like everything in his stable so far this winter and spring. You're going to see Easy to Bless. She's back there in the red silk. She'll get up for 4th, but she's never involved here. Just a really easy win for Rosa Veloce. Another really easy win for her. And listen, I'm not here to really knock her, Dan. She's in good form. She's got a couple of fast races on her card. Certainly, she's improved recently. But man, this is such a significant step up in class for a horse who's going to be the favorite in this race. I'd be hard pressed to take a short price on her, even with an apparent pace advantage.
The number 7 is Funny How, and she might have the most long-term potential of any horse in this race, and she's already pretty good for trainer Ray Handel. She's won her last 5 races, including this against fellow statebreds in the Broadway, going 7/8 of a mile. And this was a race in which I thought she did some good things. This is a good field of New York breds that she beat.
Yeah, I agree with you, Dan. And to me, this is the 5th of 5 straight wins for her. This is the best race she's ever run. She absolutely dominates this field. Broke maybe a little slowly last from the gate, but just strongly in hand early throughout this running. Moved up on her own and just buries this field through the stretch. Really strong performance. She's made very few mistakes anyway. Maybe she has to improve if she's going to beat this field. But man, she's not a horse I'm way against in here. I think she's going good right now and can get better.
And completing the field's the 8, Mama's Got to Run. If she does compete in this race, and it appears right now she'll be wheeling back on very short notice. She ran last week in the Top Flight Invitational. That was a 2-turn race. She showed speed. She tired. She's probably better at these shorter distances, but there are class questions that she must answer for Linda Rice.
Yeah, agreed. I mean, I like the shorter distance for her. We'll see if they wheel her back in this race. She did run pretty well 2 starts back. Career top figure of 88, winning that race. I mean, I didn't think it was a great performance, but she looked good winning that day. I don't mind her cutting back. It's Linda Rice. I mean, listen, this whole winter and into the spring, it's been Rice and Actress. They have 2 hot horses coming into this race. We'll see if they can keep it going.
Let's take a look at our top picks for the Distaff on Friday at Aqueduct. Mike, you're going with Pass the Champagne. She has all the back class. It's her 3rd start without a break. We both think that's a good sign, and her tactical speed should have her in a good position when they turn into the stretch.
Yeah, that's what kind of made the difference. That I feel like she's going to get a good trip here from the rail in this race. I like this distance for her, and I feel like she's a bounce back candidate in this race, especially if she's not going to be the favorite in here. I mean, Rosa Veloce, I guess she's the horse to beat. I just don't want to bet her at a short price. I'm going to try to beat her with the 1, and then maybe a little of that 7 too. Funny How, if she's a good price.
I think I'm probably going to take a Pasadena on this race. I do think Rosa Veloce is the horse to beat and the most likely winner given the perceived pace edge. I don't want to take something to 5 on her as she steps up and faces a tougher field. 6-7-1-2 for Mike, 1-7-2-6 for me. It's the Distaff, a graded event at the Big A on Friday. Good luck.